hello there. I think Alias. I can't figure out whether that was optimistic and then cautious, or just really far away. But hey, Danny Brown's back. Danny Brown's back like skinny white girls, dude. He, at the time of recording, he's dropping a new album tomorrow, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait to hear it. I mean, the dude's a genius. It's absolutely, brilliant. And I may talk about the album in the future, because this video may come out like weeks after the album came out. We might have a look at it. He does explore a lot of interesting themes in his music, and I think we could have a good time with that, potentially. I'm not entirely sure if that's where my channel is. What I want to do with my channel, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be inspired. But I do want to talk about the theming of his new song, his latest single from the album, which is aptly named Jen's Terrific Vacation, which is just genius, dude, because that is the whitest name he possibly could have come up with. And given the subject matter, the guy's so smart. It's just so brilliant. It's about gentrification and the town that he grew up in turning into a mecca for pumpkin spice lattes and what have you, and the struggles of that, and sort of seeing that town turn around. It got me thinking about my town, which is very weird. It's a weird town. And firstly, I'm not going to tell you which one it is, obviously. And secondly, I'm not going to equate it to the gentrification of Danny Brown's neighborhood. It's not the same thing, but I do think it's a bizarre situation that I'm in, and it's gone through some weird twists and turns. So the town that I live in is one that you've probably never heard of. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it would be one that you never would have heard of. But we moved there. My family and I initially moved there when I was in my teens. I think I was right about 13. And they moved there because they liked that it was relatively quiet, but there was still everything that you need within reach, which is great, a great mix. And over time, that changed a lot. I think around about between 8 to 10 years ago, I noticed some real change. Firstly, they built a new supermarket, which we really didn't need. And then right by that, they built like 2 shops with a car park in like this weird dual shop situation, and they both basically sold very similar things. And then they plopped a Costa drive-through in that car park, and then we got a Starbucks, and then we got a Costa, and then they built a mini complex of like a few shops and things to do in like a fancy schmancy complex in a car park of a shopping centre that was already there. And then they built a multi-storage car park down the road from all of that. I can't wrap my head around the decision making. And then of course, to accommodate, they built a bunch of houses, just houses everywhere. The place is littered. They're still doing it now, but every field would be completely covered in houses. There are a lot of houses in this town now. And as someone who is living in a house that he pays for and has a family, and it's just me and the family, I'm constantly being told that this is a good thing, and that more people means that the market becomes, more houses means that the market becomes less competitive because there are more houses to choose from. So they should go down in price because they don't have as much leeway, to argue with you on, and they can't really upsell you on that, which is complete bollocks. Because what's happened in reality is all of the people from the local nearby towns, where houses aren't being built, have gone, I can drive to work, and all just flocked to this one, and all just moved into this one, and just taken up those houses. So what's happened in reality is all of those houses have been taken up by other people. There are more people to compete with, and the few houses that are remaining are still just as competitive as previously, and the house prices have stayed the same. If anything, they've gone drastically up, actually, which is just brilliant. And you have to fight for any house because your town is fucking full of people, and that absolutely sucks. They also haven't done anything to change the roads in any way. So ultimately, what we've ended up with is a situation where, and I want to remind everyone, I don't know if I've ever spoken about this on this channel before, but I am someone who struggles with crippling anxiety, and the situation that we've ended up with is that we have a perpetual state of traffic. This town is essentially constantly in standstill. There's very few times, even I'm talking about late at night and early in the morning, very few times when the roads aren't jammed up with traffic. Everywhere you go is completely packed, and you would say, okay, but it's good for business because there's a lot more people in the town, which means more customers. But the problem is, where there are so many people in this town, the job market has become a lot more competitive, and so people have to end up taking like supermarket jobs and stuff like that, or remain unemployed because they just simply can't find a job because there's so many more people than there are businesses in the town. And the result of that is people live here, and tons of people live here, but they can't afford to do anything. So essentially it's only really good for the supermarkets. So yeah, you end up with just a ton of people in a tiny town that can't nearly accommodate it. Tons of traffic. When I walk around, I feel as though I'm in a fucking city at this point. Sometimes it genuinely feels like I'm walking around London trying to navigate through everyone. I have to push through people just to get anywhere in this tiny little town that can't nearly accommodate anything we need. And of course, half the time that we don't have the stuff we need on the shelves, or there's a huge queue at the supermarket because, again, it's all people can do. And for what? It sucks. There's no positive to it, you know. And you know, okay, we get like a bowling alley now and a supermarket, not a supermarket, a bowling alley and a cinema. We got a new cinema, like a continental cafe to accommodate for the people who have been able to afford to move here. And that's all right. There's a few more pubs now. There's like a couple of craft beer places we wouldn't have had previously. But aside for that, it's just too many people, dude. Way too many people. Yeah, and it sucks. But I'm going to cut it short there. Overpopulation, it can be a real issue. And I hope that gives you an insight into that. It's a weird story, but it is one. Anyway, I guess I'll see everyone later.